Let's start with the prompt. Which choice most logically completes the text? This is one of the tougher prompts because we need to understand the text well enough to be able to predict what might follow it. So let's read. Ratified by more than 90 countries, this protocol is an agreement ensuring that indigenous communities are compensated when their resources and knowledge are utilized by corporations. However, it has shortcomings. For example, it allows corporations to insist that their agreements with communities to conduct research on the use of resources and knowledge remain confidential. So it allows corporations to insist that their agreements remain confidential. Therefore, some advocates express concern that the protocol may have the unintended effect of. Now, if they're making agreements with indigenous people and they're major corporations, and those agreements are remaining confidential, it would make sense that the concern is that they're taking advantage because obviously big corporations are going to have bigger lawyers and more powerful clout and the ability to get what they want. So if there's not an audience to supervise these interactions, then the corporations may end up somehow taking advantage of these more helpless indigenous people. So let's look at the answer choices. A, it may have the effect of diminishing the monetary reward that the corporations might derive. Well, if it said diminishing the reward that the indigenous people might derive, that would make sense. B, limiting the research that corporations conduct on the resources. Well, there's a concern about the confidentiality, and confidentiality is not necessarily going to limit the research. And C, it may have the confidentiality may have the effect of preventing independent observers from determining whether the agreements guarantee equitable compensation for the indigenous communities. That makes a lot of sense. In other words, outside people may not be able to judge whether the confidential agreements are fair or not. And D, the confidentiality will discourage indigenous communities from learning new methods for harvesting plants. There's no reason why a confidential agreement would discourage them from learning new ways to harvest their plants. So that's a little ridiculous. So the answer here is C.